What do you think about the game? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the game is nice and meaty. Like there's a lot of interesting interactions that you can do, either with on your turn or on the opponent's turn. Things are a little complicated to get up and running to start, but once you get into it, it runs pretty smooth for your hand. Just a lot of neat interactions with it.
I like the combat style, seemed kind of interesting. The responses seem kind of intuitive, so you only can do things if it says counter, otherwise you're not doing anything on your bonus turn. It's very nice to the art is fantastic on it. Fire you please, so good thing I liked it.
The game.
I liked how at the end of the game, I just felt like everyone was trading Painmakers back in the blood. Like it was just like bomb after bomb. Yeah, so the game definitely crescendos. Like you're building, and then eventually you get to the point where you have a lot to play, which I didn't think they would at the beginning. We got to build like you're always using cards.
Yeah.
But because of the draw mechanic at the end and the way a lot of the cards that you pull back from the point, you still end up with a lot of things to do. And I knew what he was trying to do, and he knew what I was trying to do. And so I felt like it was just a series of counters until one of us could kind of land steering. So that part was really fun.
What about you?
I like how you really have to think about not just what you want to do, but the order you want to do it. Because, you know, I lost because I performed my actions in the wrong order, and that's something I had to learn that if I were to play again like instant, I'd have to think about. Because it's taskful, because you have to think about not just who you're going to have in the board, but how they're going to react to what you're doing.
Awesome. So you guys liked it?
I like this. I'll actually enjoy it. The only thing that I don't like if some of the mechanics were a little bit tighter, so the explanation was easier. Because once you start playing it, it all makes a lot of sense. But as you're trying to learn it before you play it, like if I sat and watched something, like I'm sure maybe could turn to play it right now and it'd be fine. But when you're explaining it was a little overwhelming, and so suddenly, like you get like 2 rounds in, and you're like, oh, okay, this totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get a lot of fun. Fast paced at times, but it didn't really go either way. Like one counter can change everything.
Yeah, when he cast that spell that totally screwed over the rest of my turn, I'm like, well, that's when I probably had no more reflected.
I think the game is well, it might be confusing at first.
It definitely starts to pick up, and you gotta just like understand and RTFC, read the cards. You know, once you understand that, the effects just kind of it all roll in.
Siri, once you read the card and understand how your trade works, it goes so much faster.
Yeah,
Like a lot faster.
yeah, but.
Thanks.
Oh, I like it a lot. I feel like it has a lot of depth, and I appreciate that even if one player takes a lead, I think there are cards, there's enough time in the game to work once fortunes, or really develop kind of interesting strategies around how you combine your cards and field in order to look unsettable.
I love how it looks and it plays really well.
Okay.
Sweet.
Thank you.
I like that they see the needs like that build that game. Like I feel like all the decks build they do when I've been playing here kind of just says hockey, like the idiot.
Uh-huh.
I really like that there's like a different objective style, like kind of like a tower defense game, but like no bit like deck building. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
And it's hard to
Thank you.
That's really great.
Thank you.
I am a sand mage from the clan of the Asur, we are known as the Unseen. We are a band of ancient warriors and gunslingers sworn to protect the realms of magic from the evil forces of the Queen of Sorrows. My people spent centuries fighting against her forces of the undead. Each battle drew my people closer and closer to annihilation. When battling the army of undead, the Asur had three choices: die at the Queen's hands and become one of her undead minions, or die and be preserved as a trophy in her twisted museum of the fallen. Or finally, retreat, stay alive, and become the Unseen. The Asur had learned long ago that death at the hands of the Queen and her minions only meant the beginning of your service to her as a part of her undead army. On our last legs, the Asur were saved from the clutches of the Queen of Sorrow by the Grand Wizardry, led by Arias Kabul. In return for this help, Arias asked us to join forces with him against the 12, an army of rogue members from the first 12 houses of magic who sought to seize magic for themselves. This need by the 12 to control magic at any cost created a schism within the great houses of divination and led to the first spell wars. And for our aid in this endeavor, Arias promised my people that he would help us defeat the scourge of the undead that had plagued our lands for centuries. He promised he would help us vanquish the Queen of Sorrows. His promises were lies.
We night mages have always been protectors of magic. Although we have come to be known as children of the night, darkness has never been the source of our powers. Being the descendants of guardian night fae, we have always sourced our magic from nature, specifically the cycles of the moon and water. After the first spell wars, our once mighty kingdoms of Nineveh and Aksum, which were once lush green forests with hundreds of rivers, fell to ruin, becoming a desolate wasteland of death and sand. Facing extinction, many of our kindred became blood mages, acolytes of Catual, El Akhet, the mummified queen. Obsessed with maintaining her beauty, she turned to harvesting magic directly from the blood of many creatures of lore. And in so doing sealed her fate as a marrow of the edgelord of time, Laszlo and Arias.